The story began with the girl named Rose, who was born into a very rich family, but just a few days after her birth, her mother passed away. Her father believed that she was born with a natural talent for music, so he pushed her into the world of piano with the hope that one day she would become a famous pianist. However, her piano tutor, Ms. Gong, realized on the very first day that there was no talent in her, which is why she didn't want to teach her. But Rose's father somehow managed to convince her. In her first piano competition, Rose played Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but she became so nervous that she forgot the next part and kept playing the same tune again and again. Because of this, all the children present there started laughing at her and making fun of her, which made Rose cry. But at that moment, her father stood up and clapped for her, encouraging her and saying she did very well. Seeing this, Rose became very happy. On her piano graduation day 2, she played Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but this time she played it very well. Her father became very happy after seeing this. After graduation, Rose stopped playing the piano because she had only learned it so she could play properly once in front of her father, and she had already done that. Meanwhile, Miss Gong moved to Germany with her family. Rose started enjoying her life and began doing all the things she couldn't do because of piano lessons. She also became very active on social media and kept uploading her photos and videos, which helped her gain a lot of followers. One day, when Rose came home, her father looked very stressed. When she asked what the matter was, he replied that everything was fine. Then he asked her if she wanted to get married, which shocked her, and she asked whom he wanted her to marry, because last she checked, Tinder wasn't something her father used for family planning. Then Rose's fiancé, Jeongnam, was shown, who was a doctor and had recently graduated. He had come to the hospital to meet his friend Yok and told him that he was getting married and gave him an invitation card. It was revealed that Yok had already been married once, but was now going through a divorce. After that, the male lead of the drama was introduced, whose name was Jun. He was working at a construction site. After work, when he was going with his wages, it was shown that his clothes were very dirty and his body smelled bad, because of which everyone was staring at him and running away. But this didn't bother Jun at all. Just then, a delivery man had an accident in front of him, though no one was hurt. The delivery man was on his way to deliver a wedding bouquet, which Jun managed to catch. The delivery man asked Jun if he could deliver the bouquet to the hotel in front since the wedding was about to start soon and requested his help, as he had to settle things with the fruit lady involved in the accident. Jun refused and started to walk away, so the delivery man said that it seemed the bride would have to walk down the aisle without a bouquet. Hearing this didn't feel right to Jun, so he agreed to help and went to deliver the bouquet. At the wedding, Yok was seen noticing Rose because he already knows her. Rose was sitting dressed up, as the wedding was about to start soon, but her father had still not arrived, so she called him, but he didn't answer. After a while, Jun arrived with the bouquet. Seeing Rose in her wedding dress, Jun kept staring at her. He said that he had brought the bouquet and started approaching her, but Rose held her nose and told him not to come close and to stay where he was because of the bad smell coming from his body. She asked him to leave the bouquet on the chair nearby and go. Jun said he wouldn't do that and came very close to Rose, which scared her, and she closed her eyes. Rose was looking very beautiful and Jun kept staring at her. Seeing Jun so close, Rose punched him on the nose out of fear, which made his nose bleed. Seeing this, Rose was shocked. Jun told her not to be shocked since she was the one who hit him. Then, by mistake, the blood fell on Rose's dress, and she got very upset because the wedding was about to begin in a short time. Rose was almost about to cry, but Jun told her not to cry or her makeup would be ruined too. Then Jun somehow managed to fix her wedding dress. Jun asked why she was speaking to him so casually, and Rose replied that it was because he looked very young. When Jun asked her age, Rose said she was 24. Jun said that meant they were the same age. Rose apologized for speaking casually and for hitting him, to which Jun replied that it was fine, as they were not going to meet again anyway. Meanwhile, Rose's father was stuck in traffic. He had also forgotten his phone at the office. He called Rose using his secretary's phone and told her that he would reach soon. As the wedding was about to start, Rose stepped outside and thanked Jun for his help and said goodbye, but Jun refused to say goodbye. Rose came out and stood outside waiting for her father, because it was he who was going to walk her to the stage. At that point, she wasn't sure what would arrive first, her father or a new season of her favorite K-drama. Meanwhile, some people were gossiping that Rose's father's company had been running in losses for a long time. Rose's father reached the wedding and was about to enter when he received a call from a man named Khan. Rose's father requested him one last time for help, but Kung refused and disconnected the call. At that moment, Rose's father suffered a heart attack. A man came and informed Jungnam's mother about it and told her that the condition was very serious and that he might not survive. Jungnam's mother became extremely worried because if Rose's father died, she wouldn't get anything that he had promised her, so she ran away from the venue with her son. At that moment, Rose's friend came and told her that her father had suffered a heart attack, which deeply upset her. In the hospital, the doctors were trying to save Rose's father, but they failed, and he died. Rose became extremely sad and started crying. Rose was told by her father's secretary that her father's business was not doing well, and he had taken a huge loan, because of which all their properties and even their house would be auctioned. All the people who gave loans would now be looking for her, so she shouldn't stay here. He said he would handle the funeral and would bury her father next to her mother's grave. When things settled down, she could come and visit his grave. He gave her some money and said he knew it wasn't much, but hoped it would help her manage for now. He also told her that since her car was at the hotel, it hadn't been seized and she could use it. Rose thanked him for all these things. The secretary told her to take care of herself. That night, Rose came to her house secretly to collect her clothes and her dog. She was very sad, and before leaving, she remembered her father one last time and played the piano. Meanwhile, June was staying in a small hotel, thinking about Rose. When he had gone to freshen up in the hotel bathroom, he had overheard some people saying that Rose's father had suffered a heart attack and was taken to the hospital. And after hearing this, the groom's mother ran away with her son. Thinking about all this, June was feeling worried for Rose and hoped she was okay. Then, 2 men arrived at the same hotel where June was staying. They showed his photo and asked if he was staying there. The manager didn't tell them anything at first, but after being bribed with some money, he revealed June's room number. The men went near the room and told June to open the door, but June didn't open it, so they started breaking it down. June somehow climbed out through the window and began running away. While escaping, he stopped right outside Rose's house. Rose was playing the piano, and the sound was reaching outside, so June sat there and started listening. Rose was feeling very sad and was playing a sorrowful tune on the piano, which moved June to tears as well. Meanwhile, Yoke packed his belongings after giving his wife a divorce and left for another city. After that, Rose rented an apartment to live in and paid the rent in advance. She began living there with her dog. She uploaded a photo with her dog on social media, and someone commented saying that if she was alone, she should come there. Rose checked the ID and noticed a city photo on the profile. She began wondering where that place could be. The username on that profile was Dodo Sol Sol La La Sol, which meant Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Then the scene shifted to that city, where a woman, Miss Jin, and her daughter Ha Young were living. Ha Young was a high school student and June was their neighbor. Ha Young liked June a lot. When June was leaving for work, Ha Young brought him a lunchbox, which she gave to him. June thanked her and also asked her not to do such things. Ha Young asked him to drop her to school, but June refused, saying that the school was nearby. Meanwhile, Rose was living in the apartment for the past month. Rose found out that the woman who gave her the apartment on rent was a fraud, and the real owner was someone else. The agreement Rose signed also turned out to be fake, because of which she was thrown out of the apartment. When she filed a police complaint, they told her they would investigate and inform her if anything came up. Rose had nowhere to stay and didn't have money for a hotel either, so she had to sleep in her car. Meanwhile, a lady named Miss Kim received a call from her husband, and they talked about a few things. Her husband asked how June was doing. Ms. Kim got nervous and said that June was doing just fine. After talking to her husband, she called the people who were trying to catch June and angrily ordered them to bring him back as soon as possible. The next day, Rose went to her parents' memorial and spoke to them at length. She thought of the person who commented on her social media post and decided to find out about that city and go there, thinking that maybe whoever that person was might know her. When she reached the city, her dog made a mistake and she ended up hitting a cyclist, and her car also crashed into the roadside. Rose was badly injured in the accident. It turned out that the cyclist was actually June. Seeing Rose, June was shocked and quickly opened the car door. He wasn't hurt, but Rose had received serious injuries and was unconscious. June called an ambulance and asked them to arrive quickly. A little while later, Rose was brought to the hospital. Yoke, who had moved to this city a month earlier, was working in the same hospital as a doctor. When he saw Rose's condition, he rushed to the nurse and asked what was going on. The nurse informed him of Rose's condition. It was revealed that Yo himself would be treating her. The scene then shifted to show June sitting outside the treatment room. When Yo came out, he saw that June was also injured and told him that he should also get treated. June said he was perfectly fine. Yo asked what his relation was to the patient, and June explained that he was the accident victim. Yok told him that in that case he should definitely get himself checked and treated. June repeated that he was fine and asked to be left alone. June later went into the hospital bathroom, treating his wounds and bandaging himself. Yok completed Rose's treatment and was standing beside her. Just then, June came and asked how Rose was doing. Yok reminded him that he had said he was the accident victim and asked why he was still there. June replied that he needed compensation for his losses and therefore needed to know how she was doing. Yok informed him that Rose was injured, but nothing was serious. When Rose regained consciousness and saw her condition, she was shocked to find both her hands in plaster and a neck brace on her. June was sitting next to her and asked if she was okay. On seeing him, Rose recognized that he was the same boy who brought her the bouquet on her wedding day. She asked what he was doing there, and June replied that he was the cyclist she hit. Rose asked if he was okay, and June said he was completely fine. Then Rose asked about her dog who had been in the car, and she started crying, thinking the dog might have died. June told her he had taken the dog to a veterinary clinic and that it hadn't died, but was likely undergoing surgery because of its injuries. This brought a great sense of relief to Rose, as her dog was the only thing she had left now. As she cried, June wiped her tears with a tissue, and Rose thanked him. Later, Rose was talking to Yok, asking him about her condition. Yok told her that nothing was serious and that she had a whiplash injury, so the neck brace would be removed in a few days. The plaster on her hands would be removed after a week. He advised her not to use her hands if she wanted to recover quickly. That night, Rose and June were sitting outside the hospital. Rose said she was so unlucky and shouldn't have come here in the first place. She still couldn't believe she had ended up injuring her hands in an accident. She told June everything about why she came to the city and who she was looking for. She thought about messaging the person who had commented on her social media post and asking them to come to the hospital. She sent the message and received a reply with an address and a note saying the person was going on a business trip and would meet her after a month. This made Rose sad, and she started crying because the person she had come to meet wouldn't be available, and she had ended up hurting herself too. June told her to stop crying because he wasn't going to wipe her tears again. Rose asked him to do it just once more, so June wiped her tears with his handkerchief. Then Rose asked why he had waited for her. June said it was so he could receive compensation as his bicycle was broken, and he also experienced mental stress. Suggested they settle everything with 5 million won, 3 million for the bicycle and 2 million for the mental stress. Rose replied that if she could afford it, she would even give him 5 million won. Heck, she'd throw in a snack coupon too, but at the moment, her financial situation was terrible. She promised to pay the compensation and told him to write down her bank account number. After that, June brought Rose inside and helped her lie down on the hospital bed. They then told each other their names. June told her to sleep, saying he was leaving now. As he was about to go, Rose stopped him and asked if he could give her some water before leaving. June gave her water and was about to leave again, but Rose kept stopping him with different excuses. Eventually, June got so annoyed that he didn't leave the hospital at all. He ended up falling asleep beside Rose and said he would stay just for that night. Rose had deliberately stopped him because she didn't want to be alone. The next day, Ha Young was waiting outside June's house for him to come out, but he was not coming, so she wondered whether he came home the previous night. She sent him a message asking where he was, whether he was at home, and where he slept last night, but June did not even check the message, which made her very angry. Her mother told her that he never replied to any of her messages till now, so there was no point in getting angry. She said that even if he spent the night elsewhere or went on a trip, it had nothing to do with her. At that moment, Ha-young's friend and classmate, Sang-ji, came and told her to come to school. Ha-young replied that she was feeling depressed and asked him to wait. Sang-ji said that June was outside, and as soon as Ha-young heard that, she ran out. But Sang-ji had lied just to take her to school. After that, in the hospital, both June and Rose woke up and noticed that a little girl had been shifted to their room. The lady accompanying the child asked whether June was Rose's husband, to which June said no. Then the lady asked if he was her boyfriend, to which Rose said no. Then she asked whether they were siblings, which both denied. June explained that the girl owed him some money. At the same time, Yo came in with a nurse during morning rounds and was surprised to still find June there. Yo asked Rose whether she slept well at night. Rose explained that she was unable to sleep even for a bit because of the pain. Hearing this, both the nurse and June were shocked, as last night the nurse had come to give her painkillers and saw her already sleeping soundly. Rose describing how painful the night was, and the nurse struggled to hold back her laughter. Yo then asked June why he was still there, especially since he had clearly said he was not her guardian. June gave no answer and walked away. June went to the veterinary clinic to check on Rose's dog and ended up having to pay the full treatment cost, which was 3.29 million won. He came back and told Rose everything. Rose asked him to lend her some money, but June refused. Rose promised to return all the money at once. After hearing this, the lady nearby thought to herself that it looked like Rose was using June. Rose said she would repair her car, sell it, and pay back all the money. June asked if she was telling the truth, and Rose replied sarcastically, telling him to write it in her account so that he would not forget. Then, June was feeding Rose because her hands were in plaster and she could not use them. When Yo saw this, he asked what was going on and why the accident victim was taking care of her. Rose told June to buy many things and told him to note the expenses in her account. Then she asked for water, which he gave her. June told her to hurry up since he had to go to work. Rose asked whether he was going to work again, and June replied that he had to work hard to be able to lend her money. Rose agreed and encouraged him to go and earn well. June was working part-time in a cafe. After work, he came to the hospital and fed Rose. In the next scene, he was working as a street salesman, and at night he was also working in a restaurant. This showed that he was doing many part-time jobs. Since his bicycle was broken in the accident, he also bought a new one. Several days passed. One day, while Jonesso was leaving the hospital after meeting Rose, Yoke saw him and asked whether he came to see Rose every day after work. Yoke questioned why he was taking care of her and whether he had any bad intentions. June said that he was doing it because he wanted to. Yoke asked whether his name was June and whether they had ever met. June said that he did not think so and then walked away. At home, June felt disturbed by what Yoke said and reminded himself not to be bothered. Just then, Ha-young came and asked what he was doing these days, saying she barely saw him at home. June explained that he had been working a lot. Ha-young asked who worked that much and warned them he might get sick. June told her not to worry about his health and to mind her own business. Ha-young told him about a job where he could earn 500 million won in 2 days. June decided to take that job and wondered if Rose could manage by herself for 2 days. 2 days passed, and June did not come to the hospital. His phone was also switched off. Rose became very worried about where he had gone. The lady near her joked that maybe June went on a trip with his girlfriend. Rose was shocked. The lady asked whether Rose ever asked where he lived or who was in his family or if he had a girlfriend. Rose admitted that she had not. The lady suggested maybe he ran away and pointed out that Rose was going to be discharged soon. She asked whether Rose was planning to borrow money from June to pay the hospital bills. Rose confirmed that she was. The woman then said she was now sure June had run away because he was under a lot of pressure. Rose argued that he had already given her a lot of money, so why would he leave without taking it back? The lady said she did not want to say it, but it seemed like Rose would never return the money, and maybe June had realized that and left. Rose said that could not be true and became very upset. Later that night, Rose was alone as the girl in the room was discharged. Rose kept thinking about June and wondered why he still had not come. She asked herself whether he really ran away. She had not washed her hair in a week, so it started itching badly, but she could not scratch because both her hands were in plaster. In the process, she dropped her glass of water. When she tried to pick it up, she slipped and fell, injuring her head. She started crying, feeling helpless. Just then, Yok passed by and saw her crying. He came over and asked what the matter was. Rose cried and said her head was itching and there was no one to scratch it for her. Yok scratched her head and tried not to laugh as he found the reason for her crying funny. At that moment, June arrived and asked what was going on. Rose was sitting on the floor and June helped her up. June took Rose somewhere on his bicycle. She was still crying and asked where he had gone. June explained that he was out for work. They sat down together and admired the beautiful view of the city. Rose shared that her family had gone bankrupt, and because of that, the man she was going to marry ran away. Her father had promised him many things, but he died. June asked why she was marrying that man. Rose said it was because her father had asked her to. June questioned how she could agree to marry someone she did not even like, just because of her father's request. Rose admitted she did not like him, but he was a good person and liked her a lot. June then asked if he was so good, why he ran away from the marriage. At that point, Rose told him that a scam also happened to her, because of which she lost her apartment. June was quite shocked to hear this. The two of them continued having many more conversations. After that, June took Rose to Miss Jean's beauty salon and started washing her hair. Rose kept looking at June and began complimenting his face, calling him quite handsome. All these compliments made June blush, so he placed a towel over Rose's eyes so she wouldn't notice him blushing. The next day, Yoke removed the plaster from Rose's hand and asked if she had a place to stay after being discharged. Rose told him she did and that she was going to stay with June. June informed her she would need to pay 30,000 won per night, which would include food, maintenance, and clinic services, and asked if she agreed. Rose accepted the condition. She got discharged that very day, so June ended up paying the hospital bills, which came to 1.29 million won. After the hospital, June went straight to his part-time job and also took Rose along with him. While working in the cafe, June noticed Rose staring at him, which made him feel very uncomfortable. He wasn't able to focus on his work, so he wrote Ms. Jean's salon address on a piece of paper and gave it to her, telling her to go there and wait for him. Rose told him she didn't have money for a taxi, so June handed her some cash. Rose asked him to note it as a loan. Then she left, but just outside the cafe, she bumped into Yoke. Rose asked him whether he was there to have lunch, and Yoke said yes. Then Yoke picked up the paper with the address that June had written and handed it back to her. Rose thanked him and left as the taxi had arrived. Meanwhile, Yoke entered the cafe and saw June working. Rose reached Miss Jean's beauty salon. Miss Jean assumed that she was a customer and noticed her stylish clothes, which made her think Rose was rich. Because of this, Miss Jean treated her very politely and styled her hair beautifully. Hit Rich Results was established and made A little while later, Ha-young returned from school. When Miss Jean asked Rose for payment, Rose told her she would pay later and asked her to write it down in her account. Miss Jean agreed, but then Ha-young questioned her mother, asking how she could trust someone she didn't know, and warned her that the girl might never pay. Hearing this, Rose asked what she was implying, and whether she thought she was that kind of person. Rose explained that she had just shifted to that place. Ha-young asked where she lived, but Rose, not knowing that June's house was right next door, said she would find out soon. Ha-young doubted her, asked how she didn't even know where she lived, and directly accused her of being a scammer. She became angry at Rose, which scared her and made her try to run away. Just then, June arrived. Ms. Jean and Ha-young were surprised to realize that June and Rose already knew each other. June took Rose to his home. Rose told him he should have informed her that he lived next door. Since June's house was very small, Rose said she wouldn't stay there, but June said it was already late, so she should sleep there for the night and find another place the next day. Rose asked if he had only one bed. June confirmed it. She asked where he would sleep, and June told her they would sleep on the same bed. This shocked Rose. Meanwhile, Ha-young was to be upset, as June told her that Rose would be staying at his place. She wasn't happy at all and was very angry because the girl staying with her crush was prettier than her. These thoughts ruined her appetite. Back at June's place, he told Rose not to worry and revealed he was only joking. He said he needed to go to his part-time job and went to the bathroom to freshen up. Meanwhile, Yoke was thinking about Rose, as he didn't trust June. He tried calling Rose, but she didn't answer, which made him more worried. June, while washing his hair, ran out of water. He asked Rose to bring 2 bottles of water from the fridge. But he saw that Rose was fast asleep and snoring, which explained why she didn't answer Yoke's call. Her phone was also on silent. Yoke, who had earlier handed her the paper, had read the address on it and reached that place. He started calling her again, but she still didn't answer. Yoke peeked into Ms. Jean's salon. Just then, Ha-young came from behind, holding an iron pipe, thinking Yoke was a thief. Meanwhile, back in the house, June took out 2 bottles from the fridge, but 1 bottle slipped and rolled under the bed. He carefully tried to retrieve it without waking Rose, but ended up waking her. Rose saw June above her without a shirt and screamed loudly, which was heard by Ha-young and Yoke outside. They both rushed inside and saw June sitting shirtless in front of Rose. Ha-young screamed, and so did Yoke, both assuming June was doing something inappropriate. Ha-young furiously questioned what they were doing and whether they were planning to sleep together. June didn't respond and walked into the bathroom. Rose was surprised to see Yoke there. In the next scene, all 4 of them sat together. June and Rose clarified all the misunderstandings. Rose asked Yok why he came so late at night and whether he came just to see her. Yok replied that he came for that very reason because he didn't trust June. Ha-young responded sarcastically, saying that the most suspicious person among them was the one accusing others. Yok said she misunderstood him, that he wasn't like that. He said he came because he was worried about Rose. June then asked why he was worried about her. Yok explained that it was because she was his patient. Ha-young then took over and began introducing everyone. She said June lived here, Rose would stay here temporarily, and that Yok was Rose's doctor. Rose asked why she didn't introduce herself. Ha-young said she was June's future wife. June told her to stop talking nonsense and to be quiet. Rose then asked if that was the reason Ha-young was worried, because June was her boyfriend. June clarified that he wasn't her boyfriend. Rose told Ha-young not to worry and that she was only staying for one night. Yok asked Rose if she had a place to stay. Rose replied that she would find a place the next day. June said she would stay there until she found one. Ha-young didn't like that idea and insisted that Rose should stay at her place instead. This made Yok feel better as well because he didn't want Rose living with June. In the next scene, Ha-young was seen taking Rose to her house. She asked Rose if she liked June and told her that she herself liked June a lot, so she should stay away from him. Rose told her she didn't have time for such things as there was already too much going on in her life. Ha-young told her that if that was the case, then she should return all the money to June as soon as possible and leave. Rose said she could hear everything and accused Ha-young of being very selfish. Meanwhile, Yok and June were talking. Yok apologized to June for the misunderstanding. He asked how long June had been living in that city. Ha-young told Rose that June had been in the city for over a month. The house he stayed in used to be Park's flower shop, but it had been vacant for a long time. One day, Park had an accident, and June saved his life by taking him to the hospital and paying all the bills. That's how June was, always helping others. Helping people was like a hobby for him. If kindness were a currency, June could have easily bought himself a small island and still had change left over. Hearing all this, Rose started thinking. Ha-young asked if Rose believed that June helped her because he was interested in her. Rose replied that it wasn't like that, and revealed that they had met before. June was shocked to hear this and asked how they had met. Yok also started wondering whether June and Rose already knew each other. June told Yok that he met Rose on her wedding day when he went to deliver a bouquet. Yok thought to himself that this must be the reason June helped Rose, which meant he already knew about her situation. Watching Yok lost in deep thought, June asked him what happened, but Yok replied that it was nothing and just advised him to make sure Rose didn't skip her hospital appointments. That showed Yok was beginning to trust June a little. When Ha-young took Rose to her house, Miss Jean didn't allow Rose to stay there. As Rose was about to leave, Ha-young stopped her and told her mom that Rose would pay 20,000 won per day. She mentioned that a room in their house was lying empty anyway, and by renting it out, they could earn 600,000 won a month. Miss Jean liked the idea and asked Rose if she could afford the rent. Rose told her that she couldn't at that moment, but once her hand fully healed, she would earn and pay the rent. When Miss Jean asked her how she planned to earn money, Rose replied that she hadn't thought about that yet. Miss Jean again refused to let her stay and said some things that hurt Rose, so she left. Miss Jean stopped Ha-young from going after her, scolded her angrily, and even slapped her. In a hurry to bring Rose back, Ha-young reached June's house and asked if Rose had come there. June told her that Rose was supposed to be at her house. Yok asked what the matter was, and Ha-young explained what happened at her house and why Rose left. Hearing all this, both June and Yok became worried and went out to search for her. June tried calling her, but her phone was switched off. Yok searched for her by car. Rose was sitting on the stairs far from June's house, and her phone battery had also died. She was actually on her way to June's house, which was a bit far from Ha-young's place, but she got lost because she wasn't familiar with the city. After a while, June reached there while looking for her. Seeing him, Rose hugged him tightly out of fear. She was crying, so June comforted her. Yok saw that June had found Rose, so he quietly returned home. June seated Rose on his bicycle and started heading home. On the way, he asked if she would stay at his house. Rose replied that she wouldn't stay there, but instead asked June to speak with Miss Jean and convince her to allow Rose to stay at her house, and also to assure her that she would pay rent. Rose said all this because June only had one room and one bed, and if she stayed there, where would June sleep? During the ride, June kept joking and laughing with Rose, which she enjoyed a lot. June brought Rose to Miss Jean's house and spoke to her. He promised that if Rose didn't pay the rent, then he would pay it himself. Somehow, he managed to persuade Miss Jean, and she agreed to let Rose stay. She showed her the room. Rose told everyone that her day was very stressful and that she wanted to be alone, so they all left her alone in the room. The three of them sat outside and looked at Rose's social media posts, from which they understood that Rose used to be rich. They also saw a picture of a piano that she had posted and started wondering whether she was a pianist. They discussed a lot about Rose, but didn't hear any noise from her room, so they decided to check what she was doing. They found out that Rose was asleep. They were surprised at how she fell asleep so quickly. June found it very funny that either Rose had achieved inner peace or she'd mastered the ancient art of vanishing mid-conversation. Rose dreamt about her past and realized that she could become a good piano teacher in real life. The next morning, when Rose woke up, Ms. Jean told her to have breakfast. When Rose came out, her hair was very messy, so, at Ms. Jean's suggestion, Ha-young combed her hair and tied it nicely. Rose complimented her, saying she was very good at it and very talented. Hearing this praise made Ha-young very happy. Miss Jean had cooked a delicious breakfast, so Rose praised her cooking too and impressed her. Then Rose went for a job interview at a piano academy, as the academy was looking for a part-time piano teacher. She spoke with the manager and got the job. The manager noticed that Rose still had a plaster on one hand and asked how she would teach piano like that. Rose said the plaster would be removed soon. The manager responded that in that case it would be better if they waited until she fully recovered. Since she got the job, Rose became very happy. She called June to share the news, but he didn't answer the phone because it was on silent. Then Rose went to Miss Jean's salon and told her that she got the piano instructor job. Miss Jean was a little happy to hear that too, knowing now Rose would be able to pay rent. In the salon, two women were getting their hair styled and were also Miss Jean's neighbors. Both of them asked Miss Jean about Rose. Rose told them that Ra Cosmetics Company belonged to her father, but he died on her wedding day. The company went bankrupt and she lost everything. Secretary Moon handled all her inheritance matters and gave her some money. She used that money to rent an apartment, but she got scammed. Those three women were huge fans of TV shows and dramas, so they got even more interested. Meanwhile, Secretary Moon was enjoying himself on a private yacht, and from the way he looked, it seemed like he had really betrayed Rose's father. Rose visited June's house and found his textbook. Inside it, she saw many math solutions written. She also found a photo, which was from high school, showing June with a friend. Rose thought June looked really cute in the picture. Just then, June came and took the photo from her. He got a bit angry and told her not to touch his things. Rose felt hurt by this. June realized he was wrong, so he apologized to her and said he heard that she got a job. Rose confirmed that he heard correctly and said now she could finally repay all his money. On the other hand, Yok's wife Yoon visited a friend. Her friend asked why Yok suddenly wanted a divorce and whether he was having an affair. Yoon said it was nothing like that, but the reason he gave for divorce was absolute nonsense. She admitted she herself didn't know why he wanted a divorce. Her friend said Yok had given up all his money and assets, which made her wonder if he was sick. Yoon said that wasn't true either, but Yok was seen taking medicine. A nurse noticed him taking so many pills every day and asked why. Yok told her they were just vitamin pills. Rose spent the entire day following June. He was working in product promotion and Rose kept changing her disguise and repeatedly came to June asking for beauty products. But every single time, June recognized her. Later that night, when June was working at the restaurant, Rose was present there too and kept looking at him. At that moment, Ha-young and Sang-ji arrived. Seeing Rose there, Ha-young became surprised and asked her what she was doing there. Sang-ji asked who she was, so Rose asked if he was Ha-young's friend, and whether they had come to have dinner. Sang-ji said yes, and all three of them sat down to eat. They talked only about June, wondering what he had graduated in. At that rate, they weren't just having dinner, they were holding an unofficial June fan club meeting. All three of them were very curious, so Rose asked June directly. June said he was only a middle school graduate, which shocked all three of them. When everyone was heading home, June received a call from the veterinary clinic saying that he could pick up Rose's dog Mimi because she was now completely healthy. When they brought Mimi home, Miss Jean didn't allow Rose to keep her there because she was allergic to dogs. June then told Rose that he would keep Mimi at his house and that she could come visit her anytime she wanted. Since Rose was meeting Mimi after many days, she wanted to spend a little more time with her, so she came along to drop her at June's place. She was upset that she couldn't keep Mimi with her and said she wished June had 2 rooms so she could live with Mimi too. Hearing that made June fall into deep thought. In the next scene, June was sketching some kind of design on a paper. The following day, Rose went to the hospital, where Yoke removed the plaster from her hand and told her that her hand was now healed. However, he advised her not to put too much pressure on her hands for some time and that she would have to keep coming to the hospital for therapy exercises. As Rose was about to leave, Yoke said that since she was now fully recovered, he wanted to take her out for dinner and asked when she would be free. Rose was surprised and asked why he wanted to take her out for dinner. Yoke replied that it was fine if she was uncomfortable and didn't want to go. Rose said it wasn't like that, but she wouldn't be able to go that day, so they could go some other time. Ms. Jean brought Rose to a garden where there was a piano and, now that Rose's hand was healed, asked her to prove that she really was a pianist. Because of the accident, Rose's fingers were still injured and she played completely out of tune. Hearing this, Ms. Jean became very angry because she thought Rose had lied about knowing how to play the piano. Rose tried hard to play well, but her fingers hurt a lot as they were still not fully recovered. June noticed this, stopped her, and said it was enough for the day. Rose returned home, feeling very disturbed because she was unable to play the piano properly. She messaged June saying that she would be quite busy for a few days, so she wouldn't be able to come see Mimi. From this, June understood that Rose was under a lot of stress. Every night, Rose went to the same park and practiced piano until late at night, and gradually she was improving. Meanwhile, June also secretly followed her after work without letting her know until she reached home, because he didn't want her to be in danger. Seeing Rose staying out late every night made June worried, so he thought about buying her a piano. But he didn't have enough money. That night, while Rose was practicing in the park, an old man came and requested her to play a song that his wife used to listen to. Rose played the song very beautifully, which brought tears to the old man's eyes. He liked it very much, so Rose felt very happy. When she returned home, she called June and told him everything that had happened that day. June asked her if she could come to his house the next day because he wanted to show her something. Rose said if that was the case, she could come right now, but June asked her to come the next day instead. That night, Rose was watching stars from the window while June was standing below looking up at her. Just then, someone came up behind June. He noticed and turned around to see that it was Yoke. Looking at the window, Yoke said, "So this was where Rose lived." Seeing this, June asked if he was following him. Yoke said that he also lived in the same building, which left June shocked. The next day, Rose got dressed up nicely and went to the piano academy because she was now completely fine and ready to work. But the manager told her that they no longer needed a piano teacher, which meant that Rose would have to find another job. She became very sad because she had already told June and Miss Jean that she got the job, and now she didn't know how to tell them that she was jobless again. Meanwhile, June didn't see her and started wondering where she had gone. When Rose was returning, she saw June outside and hid behind a pole because she felt too embarrassed to face him. June came to her and asked why she was hiding. Seeing June suddenly behind her, Rose became scared. June asked again what was going on, and Rose told him that she didn't get the job at the academy. She was about to cry from embarrassment, but then realized what she was doing and pulled herself away and started talking to Mimi instead. But when she entered the house, it was looking very beautiful. June came and said that he made an extra room, so she can come whenever she wants. This made Rose so happy that she went to hug June, but soon they both realized the awkwardness and became silent. Just then, a piano was delivered to her house. Seeing it made Rose even happier, and she said it was amazing that June had bought a piano for her. June said he didn't buy the piano, which shocked Rose, and she asked who sent it. They asked the delivery man, who said it was sent by someone named Dodo Sololala Sol. Hearing this, Rose was stunned and wondered how that person knew her address. June came outside and asked the deliveryman where the piano was sent from. Inside, Rose opened her social media account and saw that the same person had sent her a message saying he hoped she liked the gift and could thank him when they met 2 weeks later. After reading the message, Rose felt happy and began to wonder who that person might be. June then gave Rose advice that she should open a music academy at home, and Rose liked the idea a lot. She said they should do it, but added that she would pay only half the rent. June replied that her financial condition was not good and that he did not have to pay the house rent anyway, so she should not worry about it. After that, they started thinking about the name of the academy. June suggested La La Piano Land, and Rose liked the name very much. In the next scene, Yoke called Rose to ask about dinner. He had invited her earlier, but Rose had forgotten. She said sorry and explained that she would be busy in the coming days because she was going to open her own piano academy. She invited him to its opening ceremony. On the day of the opening ceremony, Rose invited everyone she knew. Yoke came and spoke to June, thanking him for letting Rose open the academy. June said he did not understand why Yoke was thanking him. Yoke explained that he had been worried about her, and also revealed that he had attended her wedding, which surprised June. Then a man was seen watching June's house from a distance, though his face was not shown. After the ceremony, when everyone left, Rose was looking at Yoke's gift and praising him, which made June feel jealous. He complained that there was so much work left to do, like cleaning the house, while she was busy looking at gifts. He told her to help him clean. Rose said she did not know how to clean because she used to be rich and servants did all the chores. So she suggested that she would play the piano while June cleaned the house. June agreed, and both began doing their tasks. Rose looked very happy while playing the piano, and seeing her that way made June feel good too. That night, they sat and talked. Rose spoke about her parents and asked June what his parents did. June told her he had no family, which made Rose feel sorry for him. She told him he could consider her as his family. Hearing that made June feel really good. The next day, Rose was distributing pamphlets for her academy and met Yoke. Yoke invited her for lunch, and Rose agreed because she was feeling very hungry after handing out so many pamphlets. Meanwhile, June packed a sandwich for Rose's lunch and called her. Rose informed him that she was having lunch with Yoke. This upset June, and he hung up the phone. Yoke told Rose that it looked like she and June were very close. Rose agreed and explained that she had borrowed a lot of money from June. Yoke offered that she could borrow money from him too and repay June, but Rose refused and said she would only borrow from June because she felt comfortable with him. Later, the police found a dead body on a beach. When they searched it, they found an ID card, but the face and full name were not visible, only the partial name June was shown. After a while, the officers called Miss Kim, whose son June had been missing for 6 months. They informed her that they found a dead body on the beach and believed it might be her son. Miss Kim was shocked to hear this. That night, when Rose came home, she found a gift placed at the gate in a bag. She assumed it was from June and sent him a thank you message. June asked her whether she had found any students, but she didn't reply, so June assumed she must have fallen asleep. The next day, Rose got back to work and was sticking flyers everywhere. Despite her hard work, she could not find a single student, and this made June feel bad. When Rose returned to the academy, June handed her an envelope with money inside and said it was his fee because he wanted to join the academy as her first student. This made Rose very happy and emotional, and she went to hug June, but he stepped back a little. At that moment, Yoke also arrived and said he wanted to join the academy too. Rose asked him whether he had ever played the piano before. Yoke said he had not. Rose demonstrated a few notes and showed him how to play, then asked him to try. Yoke began playing, and Rose quickly realized that he already knew how to play the piano very well. She asked him why he lied. Yoke admitted that he did it because he was not getting any students. And then he played a song that Rose really liked. That night, Yoke dropped Rose home after her lesson, which did not sit well with June. He felt bad, because Yoke could play the piano and he could not. So June stayed up all night practicing. The next day, June was still upset even while at work, thinking about how Yoke would drop Rose home every day after class. When June returned home, he heard piano music and became happy, realizing Rose was at his home. She gave him a lunchbox that Miss Jean had packed for him. That night, it started raining, and both of them enjoyed the view from the window. As it got late, Rose said she should leave and asked whether June had an umbrella. June had 2 umbrellas, but brought only one and offered to walk her home. Just then, Yoke sent a message to Rose saying he was about to arrive and would give her a ride home. He asked her to wait. Rose told this to June and said she would wait for Yoke because she did not want to trouble him. A little later, Yoke arrived. As Rose was about to leave with him, a loud thunderclap struck, which reminded June of something. He stopped her and asked her not to go. Seeing June's expression, Rose asked what was wrong. At that moment, June hugged her and said, "Please don't go." Rose was left completely shocked.